All right, so all about the Kaduna Refinery and Warri Refineries. Federal government approves $1.4 billion to rehabilitate these refineries. And we have our business desk editor, Naz Agbalaya. Naz, good morning to you. These refineries, we've been talking about rehabilitation, repair every year. And this time is another big shell of money to be shipped on these projects.
Good morning, Olisa. You're absolutely correct. Yes, but you mentioned 1.4. Actually, if you add all the dots together, really, it will be $1.5 billion. That is the exact amount which was approved and disbursed to rehabilitate the Port Harcourt refinery. That's the biggest Nigeria's own refinery. Now, from what we learned, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipe Silva, he said that this would be done in 3 phases. Now, phase 1 will take about 21 months, or phase 2 around 23 months, and by phase 3 in 2022, everything should be done. And then Nigeria will have all her refineries working. This is quite ambitious. Now, he also added that the Port Harcourt refinery, which had earlier gotten $1.5 billion, is already being revamped, and the first phase is almost completed. They expect that by early next year, middle of next year, that should be functional. So with the Dangote refinery coming on stream, which of course we all know that the NNPC has been given money to buy 20% stake in that refinery, Nigeria will have its own locally refined petroleum products.
Right. Now, before we all get excited about this rehabilitation, I mean, this is not the first time federal government is pumping money into the government-owned refineries. 3 major refineries that we're talking about: Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt. Now, let's not forget that these refineries, when we calculated the amount of money that was being generated, collectively, these 3 were generating less than 600 million. But in running costs, operating costs, it came to a total of $10 billion that we're looking at. How? What magic are we going to use this time around to put it over the 3 refineries and make magic happen? Please, pray, do tell.
It isn't really magic, it's still science. Now, really? The refineries were built in the late 80s to late 70s to early 80s. So the technology involved there is not what is common anymore. So to maintain them is a bit more expensive than, say, what we have in Dangote, Indorama, and other much smaller refineries in Nigeria and elsewhere in the world. So that is one of the reasons why these refineries glob so much money. There's that debate that this refinery should be sold or entirely changed. Now, the government has not disclosed what they are doing right now with the refineries. Just that it will come online. We don't know if they are changing the mechanisms which they refine petroleum products to new 21st century compliant ones, or still maintaining what has been on ground since the 80s.
All right, thank you very much, Naz Agbalaya, our business desk editor. Let's hope and pray that one day Nigeria's refineries will actually refine.
And also monitor what is happening there.
Big fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, some good news.
Is it?
Or usual news that we hear.
Is it, Olisa? I mean, this is not the first time we're talking about refineries and revamping or doing something like pumping some funds, and it's not small money. 1.5 in dollars
for a nation which is, its biggest export is oil. Oil, and we can't refine our own oil. It goes to all this subsidy and where we find ourselves with crude oil prices. Right, you're watching Breakfast Central with Oluchi and Olisa. We'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, there's lots to come. Yes, trend wave and indeed sports.